Let's go to Blake. He's in California. Blake, you're on Free Talk Live with Ian and Daryl.
Hey, how's it going, guys?
Great. Go ahead with your thoughts, Blake.
I just watched Derek J's Victimless Crime Spree.
All right, congrats.
I like the message and I like the activism and everything. I was just curious. It just seemed like, in particular, like the hat, the guy who wore the hat in court that he was against. If Derek or you guys, if you share the same particular views, are you against the court system, or you just think that the specific rules like the hat in general are wrong? Are you against the rule of law, or are you? I was just curious about that.
Well, I can't speak for Derek J, obviously. I'm Ian Freeman, the producer of the movie, so I'll speak for myself on this. But, I think the rule of law is a joke. I think what we have here is rule of men. We have, in the case of the courts, men and women who wear robes, who have men with guns, who will do basically anything that they're told. And you see in Derek J's Victimless Crime Spree, one of the scenes is Judge Burke having Adamo Freeman from copblock.org arrested for following him peacefully up a flight of stairs to the second floor of a two-story building, and then arresting him basically for asking questions while recording video. It was all caught on video. They ultimately dropped the charges, but just the fact that a man who wears a robe can order these bailiffs to make a move like that, which was clearly an illegal thing to do, just shows the raw power that some of these men have in these courts. And I think that the system's a mess. It's a monopoly, one-size-fits-all system. I don't think that's ever a good thing to have, is to have a monopoly. So I'd like to see some decentralization of justice. I'd like to see arbitrators rather than a one-size-fits-all government court system. But if we are going to have a government court system, I think that it would be better if it focused on crimes with real victims. And right now, anytime you go, whether it's there in Thousand Oaks, California, where you are, or here in Keene, New Hampshire, if you go into an arraignment, you're going to see person after person coming in there for no criminal activity whatsoever. Underage drinking, possession of marijuana, driving to work. These are some of the things that are very, very common to see in arraignments around here and all across the country. And it's a tragedy, personally. I think it's a horrifying thing that people are having their lives ruined. They're having thousands of dollars extracted from you. You sit in an arraignment for 2 hours. You'll watch probably a few dozen cases flow through there, and each one of them ringing the cash register every time, taking a plea deal, and then doling out hundreds, if not thousands of dollars in fines to the state. I mean, these guys are raking it in. It's a money-making operation, and it doesn't do anything to bring justice to the world unless every now and then they actually deal with a real criminal, which now and then they do. And that's my opinion. Daryl, what do you think?
I am not opposed per se to the rule of law. What I am opposed to is the arbitrary implication or the arbitrary nature in which the laws are applied. And
the law itself says, Daryl, the number one rule of the district court is that the rules can be thrown out at any time in the interest of justice.
Yeah, and so that's completely arbitrary. Yeah. And, of course, that right there I don't agree with. But the law of don't harm anyone else unless they harm you, that to me is a law. You can't have this plant. That's an arbitrary diktat. So if the actual laws were to be applied equally across the board to everyone, then maybe I would have some respect for it. But I forget, I think it's Mark that often says, we are a nation of laws, arbitrarily enforced and poorly written.
So, Blake, there you go. 2 answers for you. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I don't know. I just think that one quote where they say if men were angels, we're a nation of men, so there's going to be inadequacies and there's going to be things, injustices happen that are horrible and those should be fought. The war on drugs is a joke, but is it possible that that court system is just wrong? And there's others, of course, too, but would you say the majority is a joke, or are there just a few bad apples? I was in court. I got arrested from a police officer for not showing my ID at a party in college, and I went to court and fought that, and the judge agreed with me. The police officer came to the court, and the judge actually sided with me and dropped the case. So I think that overall it's a good thing. I don't know. Overall, there's going to be a few bad apples here and there, but I just don't know if we should go back to the Wild Wild West where everyone.
When you say a few bad apples, are you saying that you think there are a few bad courts, or you're asking if there are a few bad courts, or I'm not real clear on that.
Well, the statement is a few bad apples spoils the bunch.
That's true.
So if there's a few that are bad, then it's going to make the rest of them bad as well.
So we should scrap the whole court system and start over?
Well, no, as I said, if you're going to have a one-size-fits-all government monopoly court system, let's just have them deal with real crimes with real victims. Like you, underage drinking, not a real crime, not a victim. You shouldn't have been there. You shouldn't have been given that ticket in the first place. And unfortunately, the courts are dealing with that all over the place. It's not just a few courts that are screwing people up, screwing people's lives over. That's what courts do. Go to any courthouse and sit in on an arraignment and just watch the human tragedy show. And it's all brought on by the police and this awful system that we have, and the court system's part of it. It's not a good system at all. It's not focused on justice. It's not focused on making victims whole in a lot of cases. It's only focused on punishment, and it's only focused on extracting money from the weak and the poor. And it's a sick system. It really is. So, again, I don't like the idea of keeping it around, but if we're going to keep it around, let's focus it on just the criminals who've hurt people. But ideally, this is the best situation, in my opinion, is multiple arbitrators from which people who have disputes can choose. But that's a long conversation to have, and what I'd recommend you do if you want to learn more about that is check out The Market for Liberty. It's a great book written in the 1970s by Morris and Linda Tannehill, and you can actually download it for free in audiobook form as well as other forms over at book.freetalklive or books.freetalklive.com. That'll take you to a page with that book and several others on it. The Market for Liberty does a great job of explaining how it is that we could have competition within the court system. If competition makes things better, and I believe it does, then why shouldn't we have competition within the court system? Why shouldn't there be competition for the best justice system?
All right, I agree with that. I just wanted to clarify. Thanks for the call.
Hey, thanks, Blake. Thanks for watching Derek J's Victimless Crime Spree. How many stars would you give it out of 5?
Yeah, I'd probably give it a 4 out of 5.
Thanks. I really appreciate that. And you can always rate it while you surf on Amazon. And, of course, Derek J's Victimless Crime Spree is on Amazon in the director's cut. You can go check that out there and grab the DVD of it for, I think, less than $10. It's loaded up with almost 8 hours of bonus footage. There are 2 commentary tracks on the movies. It's definitely the best way to watch it. Thanks for the call tonight. Appreciate hearing from you. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. Of course, the DVD isn't in HD, but some of the old footage that we use isn't in HD either, so it really doesn't matter that much. Again, victimlesscrimespree.com. You can go watch it for free online, order it anytime through Amazon, and the links are there at victimlesscrimespree.com. There's more coming up here. You can take control of Free Talk Live.
Free Talk Live, 7 nights a week from 7 to 10 Eastern, live on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.